We're just gonna do a couple guys at a time in case we got fucking guys.
Order tonight, bond, yes. You have one.
Thank you.
Hi, sir. What's your name?
Shankar, CH?
Oh, okay. Give me 1 second.
Yes.
Good morning. My name is Parole Officer Torres. Today is Wednesday, November 26, 2025, and this is a hearing of the Connecticut Board of Pardons and Paroles. The following board members are present this morning and by stating their names on the record, certify they have reviewed all statutorily required documents and available pertinent information in preparation of this hearing.
Good morning, sir. I'm Jennifer Zaccanini.
Good morning, I'm panel member Barry.
Good morning, Eileen Keys.
Please state your name and inmate number for the record.
My name is Marwan Shankar, 272998.
This hearing is being conducted in consideration of the parole application for Marwan Shankar. His number is 272998. He is serving a sentence of 20 years, suspended after 12 years with 58 months jail, followed by 5 years probation for 2 counts of criminal liability for robbery first, failure to appear first, arson first, and criminal mischief first. As of today, records reflect the parole eligibility date of July 5th, 2024. There is no victim input in this case. There is an offender accountability plan, has been reviewed and shows the offender has completed tier 2, embracing fatherhood, good intentions, bad choices, the carpentry program, and the Pell program. Utilizing the statewide collaborative offender risk evaluation system, the offender's overall score falls within the moderate range of risk for recidivism. This is your opportunity to express to the board why you believe you should be granted parole. You may begin.
Mr. Shankar, and we did receive the letter that you sent to the board.
Yep. Thank
Thank
you.
you for that. Go ahead, Ms. Berry, did you want to say
Thank you. I'm sorry. I just wanted the officer to repeat the sentence, please. 17, did you?
20 years suspended after 12 years, 58 months jail, followed by 5 years probation.
I don't, okay.
I'll just
That's
make
right.
sure.
I had 17 years, but okay.
He received a sentence modification.
Right, I got that, but I thought the other 5 were consecutive. Were consecutive? Okay, I'll look it up. Thank you. I'm
All
sorry.
right, Mr. Shankar,
okay.
you wanted to tell us why you believe you deserve parole?
Yes, just for clarification, that 15 months was from the robbery that I initially started on, and then the arson was consecutive. I know it was complicated on the computer. Good morning. I just wanted to address the my crime and the victims first, if it's okay. On July 9th of 2011, I set fire to the house on Rockwell Street in Norwich, Connecticut. And I take full responsibility for my actions and how those actions impacted others. And there were 5 tenants home that night. And I put their lives at risk and they could, they could have died. Thankfully, they made it out safe.
Good morning, Officer Haight. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. I did ask for Mr. Lopez first for some reason. I'm not sure why, but we'll see who goes in the chair. If you're on a time restraint, I could probably ask to switch them, or if you just it's up to you.
No worries. I'm here
Okay.
whenever you're ready. And did you get Barstow's message? He's running late.
I did, but he's logged in. I was gonna see, Officer Barstow, are you with us?
Yeah, I literally just got in. And
All right, so we're still gonna plan to see Mr. Gehrig last from the facility, if that's okay.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine.
Perfect. All right, thank you both.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Morning.
Good morning, Mr. Lopez. We're going to get started, okay?
Morning. Okay.
So good morning, I'm Parole Officer Trisella, and I'm a hearing examiner for the Board of Pardons and Paroles. This is a revocation hearing concerning George Lopez, inmate number 393929. Today is Monday, December 1st, 2025, and this hearing is being conducted via video at the Board of Pardons and Parole Central Office and Robinson Correctional Institution. Can you please state your full name and DOC inmate number for the record?
George Lopez, 393929.
Thank you. So this is a public hearing and public access to this hearing is available via video live stream. Present this morning is your attorney. Can you please identify yourself for the record?
Yes, Hannah Dean on behalf of Mr. Lopez.
Thank you. So this is a revocation hearing to determine whether you have violated the conditions of your release. I'll review and make findings of facts as to each of the charges against you. The state, not you, has a responsibility to prove the allegations by a preponderance of evidence, and that is a better way to your evidence must establish that, more probably than not, the allegation is true. If I do not find that there is a preponderance of evidence to support a violation of one or more of the conditions of your parole, I'll reinstate your parole, which means releasing and placing you back on parole supervision. If I find that you have violated one or more of the conditions of your parole, I'll consider whether or not your parole should be revoked. And if I recommend revocation, I'll make a recommendation as to an appropriate sanction. A recommendation will then be given to a panel for a final decision. And if the panel wishes to impose a sanction beyond my recommendation, a supplemental hearing will be provided to justify additional confinement. You should know that a revocation hearing is an adversarial proceeding, and anything you say at this hearing can be used against you. This hearing is also being recorded. The testimony at today's hearing will be taken under oath. So Mr. Lopez, can you please raise your right hand? You solemnly swear, solemnly and sincerely affirm, as the case may be, that the evidence you shall give concerning this case shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God, or upon penalty of perjury.
Yes, I do.
Thank you. So we're going to go over the procedure for today. So first, I'm going to read you your rights. Then we're going to review the parole violation charges that the state, your parole officer, is bringing against you. We'll then review and identify the exhibits that have been filed for the record. The state is not present at today's proceedings. However, you will have an opportunity to present any relevant testimony and any relevant documents. After considering all the evidence presented, I will announce my findings. And if I find you have violated one or more of the conditions of your parole, you'll have an opportunity to speak to your background and history. Do you have any questions about the purpose or procedure before we begin?
No, I do not.
Okay, so we're going to go over your rights for today. So the first one is you have the right to be represented by an attorney, and counsel is here present for you. You also have the right to receive the written notice of charges of violation. Did you receive that written notice?
Yes.
Do you have the right to review the evidence against you before this hearing? You have the right to submit evidence in support of your case. You have the right to call and examine voluntary witnesses, and you have the right to cross-examine adverse witnesses. Do you understand these rights, and are you ready to go forward?
Yes.
All right, we're now going to review the charges that the state, your parole officer, is bringing against you and the information underlying each charge. I do want to put on the record that no finding was made at the preliminary hearing for charge number 2, the condition of drugs. And at this time, no new evidence has been provided by Parole and Community Services. Therefore, it's not going to be taken into consideration at today's hearing. So on charge number 1, the condition of absconder, the charging officer reported that on 9/15/25 at approximately 2:15 a.m. you packed up your belongings and left the Roger Sherman halfway house and did not return nor report where you were going. And on charge number 3, the condition of halfway house placement, the charging officer reported that on 9/15/25 at approximately 2:15 you left the Roger Sherman halfway house and did not return nor report where you were going. You failed to return to the halfway house or make contact with halfway house staff or your parole officer. Attempts to reach you on your cell phone were unsuccessful, and it was determined that you had absconded from the Roger Sherman halfway house, your only parole-approved residence, without permission or program completion. You reached out to your parole officer on the morning of 9/19/25 about turning yourself in on 9/19/25, but you failed to do so and stopped responding to her attempts to reach you. Your whereabouts in the community were unknown until you were taken into custody by parole officers during an attempt to locate in East Haven on 9/24/25 when you were found at your mother or in your mother's residence. The evidence submitted was already identified at the preliminary hearing, so that all does remain the same. Counsel, to confirm you and your client did receive the notice of parole violation, the parole violation report, and all the other documents identified for today?
Yes, we have.
Perfect. I did receive exhibits from the defense. I have Exhibit 1, a list of parole accomplishments and future plans for parole reinstatement. And Exhibit 2, a letter of support from Lisa. Ritchie? Yeah, perfect. Who's your sister? So at this time, sorry, counsel, do you need time to submit any additional evidence?
We do not know.
So we do not have any witnesses. So at this time, you will have an opportunity to call any witnesses, present evidence, and speak to the charges or any of the evidence submitted to the council.
Yes, thank you very much. We don't really have comments concerning the actual charges, but I just kind of want to note the background here. It's an unfortunate situation. My client does struggle heavily with drug addiction, was unfortunately in an environment in the halfway house where drugs were present to no fault of his own. He certainly does not want to make excuses for his behavior. I just believe that, it's kind of relevant understanding how we got here. Additionally, I just want to note that I firmly believe what will be best for my client is for him to avoid the cycle of addiction by undergoing some inpatient treatment or potentially being paroled to a sober house so he has that on-site programming and additional resources he can utilize in the future. As we often hear, the unfortunate reality is jails and halfway houses themselves don't ensure sobriety. It is horrible to say, but again, it's the unfortunate reality that people can obtain illicit substances in DOC and halfway houses. So unfortunately, to say that incarceration alone will solve the issue, I think is, misguided. I think additionally, treatment is really what's going to help my client break out of this cycle and solve that issue. I will note before being remanded, he had taken it upon himself to do an intake with Merritt Hall in Middletown, which is located on the CVH campus. It is an inpatient facility where he, I think was really hoping to get that higher level of care that I believe he needs. But those are the comments concerning the actual charges. I would like to talk about my client's background and history at the appropriate time.
Thank you. Just take a moment and then I'll announce my findings. Lopez, so on charge number 1, I am finding that he violated the condition of absconder based on the evidence presented in states exhibits D, I, and J. And for charge number 3, the condition of halfway house placement, I'm also finding that he violated that based on the evidence presented in states exhibits D, E, I, and J. So that does conclude the fact-finding portion of this hearing. Before I make my recommendation, you'll have an opportunity to speak to your background and history. The purpose of this part of the revocation hearing is to help determine what outcome I would recommend. So counsel?
Yes, thank you. My client's 31 years old, born in New Haven, raised in East Haven. His primary support in the community is his mom, Mary, his sister, Lisa, and a few of his good friends. Most recently in September of this year, my client was at Roger Sherman House. Previously, he was sponsored by his mom in East Haven, and he successfully completed Sierra Center and also the TOP program previously. While in the community, my client was searching for employment. He has a history of employment at Wildcat Restaurant and Popeyes. Most recently, he was doing IOP down in New Haven through CASA Mass. He was also previously at ACT Foundation for medication-assisted treatment and therapy, and he also has a history at the 4DD clinic in New Haven as well. Since being incarcerated, my client reports that he had written to programming to ask to do AA and NA meetings. He has also received no DRs during this term of incarceration. Upon reinstatement of his parole, he's open to being placed at a halfway house or sober house in New Haven. I know his family is trying to look into a potential sober house again, just so that he has that added support. I know his family is also willing to sponsor him. And I will just note that, I think it was mentioned somewhere in the narrative here that his family encourages, absconding behavior. I do just want to clarify that, his family very much holds him accountable. They don't allow him to stay there. If he is using, and they just, if anything, will provide him basic needs, food and things of that nature. I just wanted to note that for the record. My client is open to any available job opportunities and treatment. As I noted, if appropriate, I think that it would be great for him to do some sort of inpatient program or even something like a PHP where you can step down to IOP if that is appropriate when he's screened. And I also know that he would like to go back to CCAR and CASA to do additional support. I'm asking you to consider a sanction for my client not to exceed 4 months. He's been back since the end of September. As I stated, he's taken it upon himself to identify some tools and supports he can utilize when he's re-released. As I noted before, again, I've been in contact with his family who I know are trying to ensure either sober house or inpatient treatment for him once he's reparoled so that he has that added support. They will keep me in touch about how that's going, and I can definitely relay any messages concerning, beds that have been obtained to parole, should that be the case going forward. Mr. Lopez, is there anything I didn't cover about your background or history that you want to put on the record?
No, that's pretty much it.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm just gonna take a quick moment and then I'll announce my recommendation. So I have reviewed all the evidence submitted. I've also listened to the testimony at this hearing as well as your preliminary hearing. And I do want to just note a few things. I do understand that your sobriety and your drug use is a major factor. However, this is your third violation, 2 and under a year, plus a top referral you also did. And I do hear that you want to go to the inpatient treatment, but per the evidence submitted, you also were put in the App Foundation and absconded in the past from that. So it's just concerning about what's being said and the actions behind it. So with that, Mr. Lopez, I'm recommending your parole be revoked and that you serve an approximate 8-month period of confinement as a sanction. And I do want to know Parole and Community Services recommended 24 months before I keep going. So I am recommending the 8 months. That's with the reparole date of May 25th, 2026. I'm going to recommend the following conditions: no consumption of alcoholic beverages, behavioral management program for anger management, contact with victim AF, the general no contact with the Quality Inn at 30 Frontage Road in East Haven, Alex Grocery located at 418 Main Street in East Haven, Plato's Closet located at 2335 Dixwell Avenue, Hamden, Mobile Gas Station located at 200 Sergeant Drive in New Haven, and TD Bank located at 1003 West Main Street in Branford, Connecticut. Mental health evaluation and treatment as deemed necessary, and no operation of a motor vehicle without express permission of your parole officer. And I will note halfway house. If anything changes by then, you can just contact the facility to let his parole officer know. Right. So what happens next, Mr. Lopez, is my recommendation is going to go to the board on December 11th. On that date, the board can do a few things. They can adopt my recommendation if they choose to do so. They can lower it and lessen it if they want to. And if for any reason they would want to see a longer period of confinement, you will be asked to come back for a third hearing to address their questions and concerns before that happens. Okay.
George, I'll keep in touch with your family to explain everything and to relay messages regarding if they do get a bed somewhere for you. Okay.
All right, thank you so much, Anna.
All right, thank you. I will touch base with you on that board review date to let you know what they decide.
Okay, thank you guys too.
Thank you. Good luck to you, Mr. Lopez. This concludes the record. George Lopez, inmate number 393929. All right, you're all set. Thank you.
Thank you.
Morning, Mr. Dash.
Good morning.
Just want to confirm, your officer, hey, are you still with us?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Perfect. So we're going to get started. Okay, Mr. Dash?
Yes.
So good morning. I'm Parole Officer Trisell, and I'm a hearing examiner for the Board of Pardons and Paroles. This is a preliminary hearing concerning, I'm gonna mess it up, Taja? How do you say it? Sorry, Tajay. I even went over it. I'm so sorry. Tajay Dash, inmate number 410792. Today is Monday, December 1st, 2025, and this hearing is being conducted via video at the Board of Pardons and Parole Central Office in Robinson Correctional Institution. Can you please state your full name and DOC inmate number for the record?
Tajay Dash, 410792.
Thank you. So this is a public hearing, and public access to this hearing is available via video live stream. Present this morning is your attorney. Can you please identify yourself for the record?
Yes, Hannah Dean on behalf of Mr. Dash.
Thank you. And also as your charging officer, can you please identify yourself for the record?
Parole Officer Haight with the Bridgeport District Office.
Thank you. So this is a preliminary hearing which has 3 purposes under Connecticut law. The first is to determine if there's probable cause that you committed an act that violated the conditions of your parole. The second is to determine if the act is sufficiently serious to warrant the revocation of your parole. And the third is to determine if you should be held in prison pending further proceedings. The state, not you, has a responsibility to show that there's probable cause to believe you violated one or more of the conditions of your parole. If I do not find probable cause, I'll reinstate your parole, which means releasing you and placing you back on parole supervision. If I find probable cause and determine that the act is sufficiently serious to warrant revocation, you may be held in prison pending further proceedings. You should know that a preliminary hearing is an adversarial proceeding, and anything you say at this hearing can't be used against you. This hearing is also being recorded. The testimony at today's hearing will be taken under oath. So Mr. Dash and Officer Haight, can you please raise your right hands? Thank you. Do you solemnly swear or solemnly sincerely affirm, as the case may be, that the evidence you shall give concerning this case shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God upon penalty of perjury?
I do.
I do.
Thank you. So we're going to go over the procedure for today, Mr. Dash. So first I'm going to read you your rights. Then we're going to review the parole violation charges that the state, your parole officer, is bringing against you. We'll then review and identify the exhibits that have been filed for the record. The state will then have an opportunity to address the issue of probable cause and the severity of the allegations. And after the state is finished, you'll have the same opportunity. At the conclusion of this hearing, I'll inform you of my findings, which will be based upon the available evidence. Do you have any questions about the purpose or procedure before we begin?
No.
So you do have important rights today, and we're going to review them now. You have the right to be represented by an attorney, and counsel is here present for you. You also have the right to receive the written notice of charges of violation. Did you receive that written notice?
Yes.
You have the right to review the evidence against you before this hearing. You have the right to submit evidence in support of your case. You have the right to call and examine voluntary witnesses, and you have the right to cross-examine adverse witnesses. Do you understand these rights, and are you ready to go forward?
Yes.
Perfect. So we will now review the charges that the state, your parole officer, is bringing against you and the information underlying each charge. Officer, can you please review the charges that you brought against Mr. Dash?
Charge 1, reporting. On 10/2/25, you failed to report as directed to your assigned parole officer at the Newark Police Department at 10 a.m. Charge number 2, program participation. On 10/9/25 and 11/4/25, you failed to attend your intake appointment for the Explore Domestic Violence Program, a behavioral management program for domestic violence. Charge 3, residence. On 10/2/25, you failed to reside at your parole-approved residence without permission from your parole officer. Charge 4, behavior management program. On 10/9/25 and 11/4/25, you failed to attend your intake appointment for the Explore Domestic Violence Program, a behavioral management program for domestic violence. And charge number 5, no driving. On 11/13/25, you operated a motor vehicle without permission from your parole officer.
Thank you. And you've also submitted evidence in support of the charges. Can you please review the evidence that you submitted for us?
Exhibit A, Connecticut conditions of parole. Exhibit B, remand to actual custody order. Exhibit C, notice parole violation, parolee rights. Exhibit D, parole violation report. Exhibit E, BOPP revocation hearing summary 9/2/25. Exhibit F, Explore Domestic Violence Program referral 9/22/25. Exhibit G, case management plan and goal sheet signed 10/7/25. Exhibit H, offender misconduct report signed 10/3/25. Exhibit I, offender misconduct report signed 10/7/25. Exhibit J, email correspondence from Community Resources for Justice. These are exhibits J through M. They're dated 10/6/25, 10/27/25, 11/7/25, 11/10/25, all under the same header. Exhibit N, text message correspondence with 203-673-1123, 10/9/25 through 11/13/25. Exhibit O, photograph of copper Honda Odyssey, Connecticut Reg BB 49298, taken 11/13/25. And Exhibit P, photograph of notice of parking violation, dated 11/13/25 at 11:06 a.m.
Thank you. I do just want to know on the record, I have Exhibit I. I know you said signed 10/7. Sorry, I have it signed 10/15. So I'm just going to make that adjustment to it. Assuming that's the correct document. So
Let me check the evidence here, just to make sure.
The one I received says 10/15.
You're probably right. I'm going to double check that. Yes, 10/15. Thank you.
Yeah, so I'm just going to update the date for purposes in the future. So counsel, did you and your client receive the notice of parole violation, the parole violation report, and all the other documents identified for today?
Yes, we have.
Great. I have not received my exhibit from the defense. Do you need any time to submit any evidence?
We do not. Thank you.
And we do not have any witnesses today. So at this time, the state will have an opportunity to make a short statement, call any witnesses, and testify with respect to probable cause and the severity of the allegations. So Officer Haight, would you like to make any statements towards the charges and the severity of the allegations?
I mean, the biggest charge that brought us here was the failure to complete the intake appointment for his domestic violence program. He was given 2 chances to complete that intake appointment and several reminders on on both instances. He gave a reason for missing it the first time. He didn't really give a coherent reason for missing it the second time, but he was informed the whole way that we'd be here today at a parole violation if he did not complete those intake appointments, which he did not. As far as the charge of residence goes, he was not residing at his place for quite some time when we caught on to that. I'm not sure why he thought that would be okay, but I charged that behavior just on 10/2/25 because that was the day he failed to report and indicated that he did not have a ride to Norwalk to report, which is where he should have been residing anyways. So I just want to point that out as well. The other charges, I really have nothing else to add to them. They're pretty self-explanatory.
Thank you. Counsel?
Yes, thank you very much. As to the reporting charge, I just want to kind of explain the background here. My client reports he was released from custody on September 19th of this year and right away went to the police station, which is, I believe, where the parole office was located, to check in. And his PO was not there that day. Another PO was there and was covering the case for him. So that PO helped my client sign all of the paperwork. But I just wanted to ask him a couple of questions related to this. Mr. Dash, can you tell the hearing examiner whether or not the covering PO on September 19th gave you PO8's contact info with his information?
No, she did not.
Okay, thank you very much. So I will just note that he has maintained that he didn't have the PO's direct contact info. And so, Mr. Dash, when you were told about that October 2nd date, did you try getting in touch with your PO thereafter to let him know that there was an issue with that date?
Yes, I did. I left him a message on his answering machine. He told me that that is not his job to check that answering machine. I am supposed to call his cell phone. How am I supposed to do that if I'm just getting home from prison?
Okay, thank you very much. And then can you also just indicate, what did your PO tell you about that scheduled session on that date?
He told me that I was supposed to report to him on that date. But again, you're telling me that I'm supposed to report to you. I'm telling you, I'm calling the police station, I'm calling Bridgeport Parole, I'm leaving voice messages for you, all that. You told me that it was my responsibility to get in contact with you. You're my parole officer.
And Mr. Dash, sorry, and Mr. Dash, you so it was October 2nd they wanted you to report and you had a conflict on that date. What was the date that you wanted to report on instead?
The 3rd. I actually for the next day.
Okay, thank you very much. So I would just note that for the record, the comments that my client just made. And then as to program participation, Mr. Dash, can you explain the situation with the Explore program that happened on October the 9th, where you, I believe, were running late?
Yes, I woke up late, I was running late. I called her and I told her I was about 10 to 15 minutes behind schedule. She told me not to even come because if I'm 10 to 15 minutes late, they can't take me. I would have to reschedule. Again, I don't know what y'all want me to do if I'm taking public transportation. Y'all don't want me to drive. I can't control a bus and a train being late.
Thank you. And then concerning the situation of the November 4th report date, I know that you aren't disputing that your PO had told you to report that date, but can you just explain kind of what you had going on and why you didn't report on that November the 4th date?
November 4th?
I believe this was the date, I believe, when you had Explore program scheduled, but then maybe also had something that initially had conflicted with that.
Yes. At the time, it also coincides with him saying my residence, me not staying at my residence. There was supposed to be a change of address going on at the time with my fiance. I was supposed to be changing addresses to my fiance at the time. We ended up not doing that, and a whole bunch of things happened with her mental health. So on the 4th, she ended up going into a mental health crisis, and she had to be taken to the hospital to be checked in. And I could not get there at all. I was trying to get back. I was trying to get to Bridgeport, and I could not make it.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate you putting that on the record. And then just a couple other brief things. I would note as to residents, my client reports, again, those allegations weren't accurate. He reports that his PO had gone to the residence, seen his mother there. He states that at no point did his mom indicate that he was no longer residing there. He indicated the mom hadn't seen him, but I will note that he states his mom works 2 jobs, and it was, a situation where they were kind of like 2 ships in the night. One would come home, the other would leave, and they didn't really see each other often. So I just wanted to note that. My client also reports that he was sometimes out of the house, later. However, I don't believe that any evidence has been submitted to show that he was on any sort of GPS bracelet or any sort of curfew indicating that he needed to be in his residence during specific hours. And then lastly, I think that the charge 4 has been addressed along with charge 2. But then as to charge 5, I would just argue for this one that the PC standard, the probable cause standard, has not been met. I would just argue the ticket and the photos alone don't establish that my client was actually the one operating. So I would argue that the evidence is insufficient for that charge. And then lastly, I would just argue these allegations are not serious enough to warrant revoking my client's parole. Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry, any additional comments?
Yes, just 1 second, please. I'm looking for a case note interaction here to share. So the attorney stated that when Mr. Dash was released, he first reported to the Norwalk Police Department. That is not the case. The day he was released, he reported to the Bridgeport District Parole Office. That's where all our new offenders are reporting to the first day they are released from incarceration. And he saw the officer of the day that day because I was conducting reporting down in Norwalk. He stated that the officer of the day did not tell him when he was supposed to report. I'm just looking for that case note interaction that was entered here that will indicate.
Mr. Dash, we get to reply in just a minute. Let Mr. Haight finish, and then we'll reply in just a second. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, so on September 19, 2025, the officer of the day entered a case note interaction that the subject reported to BDO, which is the Bridgeport District Office, as instructed. His conditions were signed and his DV program to be completed was emphasized. He stated he would like to complete the DV program in Bridgeport. He was instructed to report to PO Haight on October 2nd at 10 a.m.
Anything further, officer?
Nope, just speaking to that charge, that's it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Counsel?
Yeah, I would just clarify for the record, that was my misstatement. I was confused concerning the 2 charges, but yes, he did report. I just was trying to get out there. He reported to somebody on 9/19. The location, I apologize for my misstatement, but he did report and saw a PO. Again, it wasn't his PO, it was who was covering that day. But I just want to note he was giving, I don't think my client at any point is contesting that he was given those instructions. He is just stating that he had a conflict with those, that specific date and was trying to take it upon himself to do the right thing, contact parole, get in touch with them to explain the conflict and try and offer an alternative reporting date. So that's what I was trying to get on the record there. That is it though, as far as the clarification. Mr. Dash, did you have anything else you wanted to state for the record, or did that clear it up?
A little bit, but also is the fact that you made me sign a misconduct report for that day stating that the officer of the day gave me your contact information and then tried to tell me that there's video. So where's the video? Because you didn't give me your contact information. And then you tried to blatantly yell at me and tell me that I should have your contact information. How? You sent me to prison. I no longer have the same phone. I no longer have none of that same stuff. Everything I have now is brand new.
Thank you.
Anything additional from either side at this point before I take a moment?
No, nothing additional other than the officer today maintains that she gave Mr. Dash my business card with important instructions written on the back that I had left at the district office for him to receive the day he was released.
I just argue that there is evidence submitted as to that, but nothing further from defense. Thank you. Thank you.
So I can announce my findings, Mr. Dash. So on charge number 1, the condition of reporting, I am making a finding of probable cause based on state's exhibits A, D, and H. On charge number 2, the condition of program participation, I'm also making a finding of probable cause based on state's exhibits A, D, F, I, J, K, L, and M. On charge number 3, the condition of residence, I'm making a finding of probable cause based on state's exhibits A, D, and H. On charge number 4, I'm making a finding of probable cause based on state's exhibits for the condition of behavioral management program based on state's exhibits A, D, F, I, J, K, L, and M. On charge number 5, the condition of no driving, I'm making a no finding of probable cause based on the information reviewed. The state failed to submit sufficient evidence in support of the charge, and the elements were not met. With that, Mr. Dash, I'm also finding that the acts are serious enough to warrant revocation, and I've also determined that you should be detained while you await your revocation hearing. So the records office at the facility will be notified of this. Your officer is now aware of it. What happens next is that your revocation hearing will be scheduled within 60 business days of your remand to custody. At that hearing, myself or another hearing examiner will determine if you violated the conditions of your parole, and if so, they will make a recommendation regarding whether your parole should be revoked and what, if any, sanctions should be imposed. So that does conclude today's preliminary hearing. Any questions?
No, Taisha, I will set up a call with you at the facility so that we can discuss everything and prep for the second hearing that we're gonna have coming up, okay?
Okay.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, Officer Haight. This concludes the preliminary hearing for Mr. Dash, number 4109792. Thank you.
Have a great day.
Thank
everyone.
you, Jill. Have a good day.
Thank you.
There you go, bitch.
Please, bitches.
Good
Mr.
morning.
Gary, how are you? Good morning. I'm just gonna see if your attorney comes in. If not, I'm gonna go grab him. There you go. Come on in. Officer Barstow, are you with us?
Yep, good morning, I'm here.
Are you, sorry, Officer Barstow, are you able to turn your camera on?
Yeah. Okay. Morning.
Perfect. Good morning. So we're going to get started, Mr. Garrick. So I am Parole Officer Trisella. I'm a hearing examiner for the Board of Pardons and Paroles. This is a revocation hearing concerning Henry Garrick, amendment number 405572. Today is Monday, December 1st, 2025, and this hearing is being conducted via video at the Board of Pardons and Parole Central Office and Robinson Correctional Institution. Can you please state your full name and DOC inmate number for the record?
Good morning. Good morning, Barstow, too. My name is Henry Gehrig, and it's 405572.
Thank you. So this is a public hearing, and public access to this hearing is available via video live stream. Present this morning is your attorney. Can you please identify yourself for the record?
Good morning, Peter Matthews, the Public Defender's Office, Mr. Boric.
Thank you. And also as your charging officer, can you please identify yourself for the record?
Yep, good morning, everyone. Officer Barstow, Special Management Unit in Bridgeport, New Haven.
Thank you. So this is a revocation hearing to determine whether you have violated the conditions of your release. I'll review main findings of facts as to each of the charges against you. The state, not you, has the responsibility to prove the allegations by preponderance of evidence, and that is a better weight your evidence must establish that, more probably than not, the allegation is true. If I do not find that there is preponderance of evidence to support a violation of one or more of the conditions of your parole, I'll reinstate your parole, which means releasing you and placing you back on parole supervision. If I find that you have violated one or more of the conditions of your parole, I will consider whether or not your parole should be revoked. And if I recommend revocation, I'll make a recommendation as to an appropriate sanction. The recommendation will then be given to a panel for a final decision. And if the panel wishes to impose a sanction beyond my recommendation, a supplemental hearing will be provided to justify additional confinement. You should know that revocation hearing is an adversarial proceeding, and anything you say at this hearing can't be used against you. This hearing is also being recorded. Testimony at today's hearing will be taken under oath. So Mr. Garrick and Officer Barstow, can you both please raise your right hands? Thank you. Do you solemnly swear or solemnly and sincerely affirm, as the case may be, that the evidence you shall give concerning this case shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God, upon penalty of perjury?
I do.
Thank you. So we're going to go over the procedure for today. So first, I'm going to read your rights. Then we're going to review the parole violation charges that the state, your parole officer, is bringing against you. Then review and identify the exhibits filed for the record. The state will then have an opportunity to present all relevant testimony subject to cross-examination and any relevant documents. After the state is finished, you will have the same opportunity. After considering all the evidence presented, I will announce my findings. And if I find that you violated one or more of the conditions of your parole, the state will have an opportunity to speak to your background and history. And after the state is finished, you will have the same opportunity. Do you have any questions about the purpose or procedure before we begin?
No.
So do you have important rights today? We're going to review them now. You have the right to be represented by an attorney. Counsel is here present for you. You also have the right to receive the written notice of charges of violation. Did you receive that written notice?
Yes.
Do you have the right to review the evidence against you before this hearing? You have the right to submit evidence in support of your case. You have the right to call and examine voluntary witnesses, and you have the right to cross-examine adverse witnesses. Do you understand these rights and are you ready to go forward?
Yes.
Okay, so we're now going to review the charges that the state, your parole officer, is bringing against you and the information underlying each charge. Officer Barstow, can you please review the charges?
Yep, good morning. All right, under Obey All Laws on September 9th, 2025, an outstanding warrant for your arrest was issued at a Bridgeport Police Department for failure to register sexual violence, Connecticut General Statute 54-252. According to reviewed documents, you violated your registration requirement on one occasion on July 4th, 2025. On June 23rd, 2025, you were mailed a 90-day address verification letter from the Connecticut Department of Emergency Services and Public Protection Sex Offender Registry Unit, which was required to be returned on or before July 3rd, 2025. You failed to return and verify your address in accordance with Connecticut General Statute 54-254. According to the arrest warrant, you have received at least 6 other violations in the past where you failed to verify your address, thus in violation of the Connecticut General Statute 54-252. In fact, when the warrant was written, you were still currently in non-compliant status. Under charge number 1, BOPP stipulated you to enhance internet and device monitoring, which you are aware of when you signed your parole conditions on June 16th, 2025. This stipulation reads, you understand that you have no reasonable expectation of privacy in the use of any of your electronic devices, and you agree and will comply with the search, inspection, and/or seizure of such devices at any time by an authorized agent or employee of the Department of Correction or Board of Pardons and Paroles. You understand that you are responsible for all materials and information on any of your electronic devices, and that you may be required to install and pay for software programs to monitor your use of such devices. On August 19th, 2025, you were in possession of a cell phone during reporting at the Bridgeport Parole Office. You reported that the cell phone in your possession was your only cellular device and that it had not been activated yet. You further stated that the phone had Wi-Fi capabilities when connected to a network. You were instructed to download the enhanced monitoring software on any cellular or computer capable device. By not having the software installed on your phone, Parole is unable to monitor the usage of your cellular device and unaware of your social media use. On September 4th, 2025, during an authorized search of your residence, you were found to be in possession of a second unauthorized cellular device, which was not reported to your PO. You are the only person residing in your room you rented. In the room you rented. The phone was located on top of your dresser and charged to 90%. You were directed to comply with the search of the phone and provide PO with the cellular device passcode. After numerous verbal direction given to provide PO with the cellular device passcode, you failed to provide the passcode, thus preventing PO to search the contents of your cell phone. This is a direct violation of your signed BOPP additional condition of enhanced internet and device monitoring. On September 8th, 2025, the results of a forensic phone analysis revealed that you had downloaded and used the Facebook application without the authorization and/or approval of Parole. This is a direct violation of your signed BOPP additional condition of enhanced internet and device monitoring. By failing to install the software on your phone as instructed, Parole was unable to monitor the usage of your cellular device and unaware of your social media use. 9/8/2025, the results of a forensic phone analysis revealed that you had downloaded and used the Twitter application without the authorization and or approval of Parole. This is a direct violation of your signed BOPP additional conditions of enhanced internet and device monitoring by failing to install the software on your phone as instructed. Parole is unable to monitor the usage of your cellular device and unaware of your social media use. Also on 9/8/2025, the results of the forensic phone analysis revealed that you had downloaded and used the Instagram application without the authorization and or approval of Parole. This is a direct violation of your signed BOPP additional conditions of enhanced internet and device monitoring by failing to install the software on your phone as instructed. Parole is unable to monitor the usage of your cellular device and unaware of your social media use. On June 16th, 2025, during your reporting, your parole officer directed you to attend an intake for problem sexual behavior, which was on 6/18/25 at 12:30 p.m. at the Bridgeport Probation Office, and you failed to attend the intake as directed. On September 4th, CTPSB therapist informed PO that you received 2 unexcused absences on July 31st, 2025 and August 7th, 2025 for your stipulated high-risk CTPSB group. You failed to contact CTPSB staff and or PO to report your absences. This is direct violation of your signed CTPSB treatment agreement. I will attend on time all sessions for which I'm scheduled unless I have received permission from the group clinician to be late or miss a session. On September 8th, 2025, you were unsuccessfully discharged from your BOPP mandated sex offender treatment through CTPSB due to failure to comply. You were discharged from CTPSB due to an unauthorized device being found and refusal to provide the password.
Thank you. You've also submitted evidence in support of the charges. Can you please identify them for us?
Yes, Exhibit A, the remand to custody. Exhibit B, parole agreement signed in June 2025. Exhibit C, parole agreement signed in January 2024. Exhibit D, misconduct dated June 20th, 2025. Exhibit E, email from CTPSB therapist dated June 2025. Exhibit F, CTPSB treatment agreement signed July 2nd, 2025. Exhibit G, email from CTPSB therapist dated September 2025. Exhibit H, CTPSB unsuccessful discharge report, failure to comply. Exhibit I, revocation hearing summary dated January 10th, 2023. Exhibit J, revocation hearing summary dated April 17th, 2025. Exhibit K, Facebook activity from forensic analysis. Exhibit L, Twitter activity from forensic analysis. Exhibit M, Instagram activity from forensic analysis. Exhibit N, the Bridgeport police report with the case number 25000735881. Exhibit O, the arrest application, the arrest warrant application, GA2. Exhibit P, the receipt of seizure of property, PCS 5404. Exhibit Q, parole notification form dated 1/26/2022. Exhibit R, notice of parole violation, and Exhibit S, parole violation report.
Thank you. And you've also submitted an addendum to the parole violation report. Can you please review that for us?
Yep, the addendum on November 5th, 2025, the offender was sentenced under docket F02B-CR25-Z-0364569-S for 1 count of failure to register. Sexual violence, Connecticut General Statute 54252. The offender received a 90-day jail sentence with an end of sentence date of December 15th, 2025.
Thank you. Counsel, did you receive the notice of parole violation, the parole violation report, and all the other documents identified for today?
I did.
You were able to review this information, correct?
Yes, I was.
The defense has filed exhibits which are marked as follows. Exhibit 1, the list of parole accomplishments and future plans for parole reinstatement. Exhibit 2, the support letter number 1 from David Garrick, who's the father. And Exhibit 3, the letter support letter number 2 from David Garrick. Counsel, do you need any time to obtain any additional documents for today?
I do not.
We do not have any witnesses. So at this time, the state will have an opportunity to call any witnesses, present evidence, and speak to any of the evidence submitted. Officer Barstow, would you like to make any comments towards the charges?
I would like to go over the recommendation portion.
Okay, so no comments towards the charges?
Right, yeah,
point?
nothing,
Okay.
right, correct.
No problem, counsel.
Thank you. So Mr. Gorak did plead guilty to failure to register, and he did receive a 90-day sentence in court. He doesn't really understand still what happened with the registration. His father had been helping him try to make sure this paperwork was returned. I did review the warrant. The allegation in the warrant was that the paperwork was received on August 5th. It was due on July 24th, so that's 12 days. I don't know why he would still be listed in non-compliance status at the time the warrant was issued, given the fact that they ultimately appeared like they did receive that paperwork 12 days after that second letter went out. So I would think that would have put him back into compliance. So I can't explain why he was still in compliance. But he has been working to try to work with the state police to try to address this. This has been a problem for him in the past. His father had indicated that he's been in contact with the state police and he believes he will be able to submit this electronically, which he's hopeful will address some of the issues going forward. I know I've also been contacted by a criminal justice advocate who's been working with the family, and she's indicated that she's going to try to assist Mr. Gorak and his father going forward and try to make sure all these registration obligations are addressed appropriately in the future. With regard to the cell phone allegation, the primary phone in possession was provided to Mr. Gorak by his father. His father did confirm this in a letter that was provided as an exhibit. I believe the extraction evidence that we have pertains to that primary phone. I'm not 100% clear on that, but I think that pertains to that primary phone that he did indicate he had at the 8/19 parole meeting. Taking a look at that, the web history since the last website visited looks like it was 8/18, and this extraction was done apparently on September 8th. So it doesn't appear that this phone was being actively used. That 8/18 date was before that date that was mentioned in the PBR as the parole meeting where he was told to install the software on the phone. So it doesn't look like I don't believe from looking at the extraction evidence that he's accessed that internet or used that phone for internet uses since he had that meeting where he was told to install the software on the phone. He tells me the phone was not yet activated. He didn't have the money to activate it. With regard to the second phone, Mr. Gorak indicates this phone was left by a friend and he didn't know the password and was not able to unlock it for parole at the time. Then with regard to the 2 missed sessions of treatment, Exhibit E is an email, which was an email from the provider, does indicate that Mr. Gorak did indicate to them that he was sick and that he thought that his father had contacted them regarding the illness. I will note he did continue to attend the classes after those 2 missed sections. The unsuccessful discharge from treatment was not due to him not going to class, but rather it was due to the cell phone that was found in his apartment. So I don't think his failure to attend classes was willful. He tells me he was sick and he continued to attend after those missed sessions. If there is a finding made, I would like to be heard further about the sanction as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Any additional comments, Officer Barstow?
Not at this time.
Counsel, you're okay?
Yes.
Just take a moment, I'll announce my findings. On charge number 1, Mr. Garrick, I am finding that you violated the condition of obedience to the law based on your conviction of failure to register on November 5th, 2025 and receive that 90-day sentence. In addition, evidence provided that supports the charge is exhibits B, O, and S. On charge number 2, I'm also finding that you violated the condition of enhanced internet device monitoring based on the evidence presented in states exhibits B, K, L, M, P, and S. Lastly, on charge number 3, I'm also finding that you violated the condition of problem sexual behavior treatment based on the evidence presented in states exhibits B, D, E, F, G, H, and S. So that does conclude the fact-finding portion of this hearing. Before I make my recommendation, the state will have an opportunity to speak to your background and history. And after the state is finished, you have the same opportunity. The purpose of this part of the revocation hearing is to help determine what outcome I would recommend. So, Officer Barstow?
Yes. This is Mr. Gorak's third arrest and conviction for the Connecticut General Statute 252. After reviewing that statute, this conviction is punishable up to a 5-year prison term. So I just want the board to be remembered of that. And Mr. Gover, he was well aware of this. Back to his initial release to the January Center when he signed his parole notification form for his registry, that's Exhibit Q from January 26th, 2022, and also per the warrant, the arrest warrant, Exhibit O, it's noted in there that this is his 6th sex offender registry violation. Looking at the revocation summary, Exhibit 2023, Mr. Grover was engaging in high-risk, unapproved social media usage, which included dating websites and high-risk sexually explicit conversations and photos. Mr. Grover lied to his then supervising officer when asked about social media and internet use, and also failed to disclose his sexual relationship with his high-risk problem sexual behavior group, which resulted in his first unsuccessful discharge from his stipulated group. He's exhibiting the same high-risk, non-compliant behavior by utilizing the social media platforms, which we have those in the exhibits K, L, and O, on an unapproved cellular device. The device was not being monitored by parole with his stipulated enhanced monitoring system, which was found obviously during a search of his self-sponsored residence, charged to 90%. Mr. Grover failed to provide parole with the device password, hindering parole's ability to access the unapproved cellular device to search the contents of the phone. He was subsequently then unsuccessfully discharged again from his high-risk problem sexual behavior group. I'd also like to note in here that during a cursory search of Mr. Grover's vehicle during a reporting session at Bridgeport Parole Office, he was found to be in the possession of 2 Yale campus security jackets. Mr. Grover did say that they were his father's, and that his father does in fact work at Yale campus as a security guard. Mr. Grover was directed by me to remove the jackets immediately. Another search was conducted of his vehicle, and it found that the Yale security jackets were actually moved to the trunk. Yale PD was contacted, and they actually started their own investigation into the Yale jackets because Mr. Grover Henry is not a Yale campus security employee. Yale PD reviewed their license plate recognition system and found that Mr. Gorig was in and around the Yale New Haven campus and surrounding the bar social scene on multiple occasions from 1 a.m. to 4 a.m. And I just want to let everyone know that his approved parole self-sponsored residence is in Bridgeport, not New Haven. This is his 3rd special parole violation, exhibiting the same high-risk, non-compliant, and criminal behavior from previous violations. The Yale jackets, the fact that they weren't removed the first time and just moved to the trunk, were very concerning to parole, which then led to the contact with the Yale PD. This is concerning behavior that he's visiting the campus and social scene when his IO includes an intoxicated female. Right now, I'm recommending a 2-year sanction with a follow-up at the January Center for placement for a fresh start for his special parole supervision, return to the basics with his stipulated high-risk problem sexual behavior group, and time for him to start taking his parole conditions more seriously.
Thank you. Counsel?
Thank you. So Mr. Gorig, he's 29 years old. He was born and raised his family here in Connecticut. He has a lot of familial support here in Connecticut, including his father, his mother, his stepfather, and his brother. As indicated prior to his remand, he was residing in an apartment on his own in Bridgeport, but when he is released, he's hoping to be sponsored by his stepfather, who resides at Camden. I will note in the past, he has successfully completed sex offender programs at both the January Center and the Sierra Center halfway houses. Prior to the remand, Mr. Gorig was working in construction at Pro Home Improvement in New Haven. He indicated he was also working a second construction job at Melendez Contracting. He tells me he had a good relationship with his employer. He's hopeful to be able to get back to work when he is released. He had worked at Pro Home Construction for over a year prior to his last remand as well, so they had taken him back in the past, as he has been a good and dependable employee for them. Mr. Gorig, he did graduate from high school And when he was incarcerated, he started taking classes at Quinebaug Valley Community College, and he was studying business. He does want to continue in his education as well when he's released and ultimately complete that degree program. So Mr. Gorski has engaged in sex offender counseling throughout his period of special parole since that initial release back in 2022. He was in the January Center, and then he was at the Sierra Center, and he engaged in the Connection program over several years. He certainly is willing to continue to engage in counseling and treatment as required by parole. I know the PBR and the testimony here does cite some history with regard to the conditions of treatment over the years, but I just would note he has received sanctions for that. That's not before the board right now. And I would also note he's complied with extensive treatment as well. The mitigation report we submitted does summarize a lot of the treatment he has engaged in over the course of his parole supervision, which is quite significant. I'm also going to address some of the allegations that were not included in the charges, but were mentioned in PBR and mentioned in testimony, particularly the allegations around the Yale safety coats, which were found in the vehicle. As indicated, Mr. Gorski's father works for Yale Campus Safety, and he did confirm these were his coats. The vehicle Mr. Gorski was using also belongs to his father, so we have his father's coats and his father's car. With regard to the vehicle being seen around Yale, I can't really respond to that. I don't have enough information about the dates and times other than to say he hasn't been charged with anything. And as I indicated, the car does belong to his father who works at Yale. With regard to the recommended sanction, I understand the recommendation is made based upon prior violations, but I would ask you to consider something less than that. Looking at the allegations here, as I indicated, the registration letter was ultimately sent to state police and arrived 12 days after it was due. He did miss 2 classes where he indicated he was ill, and then he continued to attend after those sessions. And then there was the issue with the phone, which obviously should have been handled differently, and I understand that was concerning to parole. As I indicated, it doesn't look like this phone is being actively used, as it was several weeks since the last was used to access Uber Eats when the extraction was done. There's no allegation of drug use. His attendance with treatment was not perfect, but he certainly wasn't blowing off the treatment with the Connection program. I know that Exhibit G as well notes some comments about Mr. Gorski's eyes being bloodshot and him being fidgety in group. But if the suggestion is that he may have been using drugs, presumably he's being drug tested, and there's no allegation here of any positive drug tests over this period of supervision. There's no evidence he accessed any pornography here or had access with people through the phone he should not have been in contact with. His last sanction was 5 months, and before that, he was reinstated at the preliminary hearing. So yes, he's had multiple violations, but based on the sanctions he's received, the violations don't appear to be particularly egregious. I would ask for a sanction here in the range of 7 to 10 months. He does have a lot of time left on parole. I know he's been having some difficulties, but I think he has demonstrated an ability to work with parole and engage in the treatment. And his father is working to try to help him get squared away with these registration problems. He's contacted outside agencies who are working to try to help him going forward with the registration requirements as well. Mr. Gorski, is there anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, I'd like to speak. So, I've been trying my hardest while I've been reintegrated on parole, and that I've been trying to show Officer Barstow that, you know, I can hold the job down and that I'm able to pay my bills, my insurance, my car bill, my rent, and that I'm being a productive member of society, and that I'm trying to follow the charter that is listed in the parole house that states that basically I'm trying my hardest and I'm going to my classes, and that I'm sending my mail in, and I'm having my father call in for my registry, and that I'm also calling in beforehand. And I also had, before I left Brooklyn Correctional Institution, had 2 counselors send in my address to verify that I was leaving Brooklyn Correctional Institution, and my address was going to be 213 Thorn Street, which was my residence beforehand, and that I was going back to. And then also I wanted to say something about the phone. I didn't have enough money to actually activate my phone, and I have not used that phone. And basically, I'm trying to tell you that from then that the second phone was found, I have not received the evidence for the second phone, and I'm in compliance with my parole officer. He was asking me, oh, you have the password, just give me the password. I said, I do not know it because it is not my phone, and I was not received for the evidence. And the previous phone that they found, I did not use because I didn't have enough money to actually put the $30 or $35 a month of the CTPSB programming onto the phone. And I told Officer Barstow that I am in compliance, that I want to put that on my phone, but I do not have the money. And I'm trying to show that in the community, I've had my polygraph tests and that I've passed my polygraph test, that I've showed up to group, and that I'm attentive in group, and that I'm always trying to speak on behalf of other people and relay better information on my behalf of what I know in situations that we talk about in group. And then also that there's a finding that it says I was basically being defiant and trying to go to the bathroom, and I asked the Annalise, the counselor over there, if I could go to the bathroom, and then she said no, and I said, well, I can't go to the bathroom, like it's an emergency, I have to go to the bathroom. And I said, I'm going to go and I'm going to return. And then I've returned back after that, and I saw that there was a finding on that.
Henry, that was taken out. That was taken out when you were reserved. There, that portion, that charge was taken out.
I wasn't told that, but I just want to be able to show that I'm trying to be compliant, and I am being compliant in the fact that I'm going to group, and that I'm being attentive, and that I'm participating, and that I've completed phase 1 and phase 2, and then also passed my polygraph tests, all 3 questions that I passed, and questions regarding electronics and everything else. And that I'm really trying, and I'm taking things seriously in the community. I'm working, and I'm trying to be my best. And that also regarding my address, the only possible reason is that I've even had state police that I've contacted, and I've called myself personally because previously that happened, and they were late. They were received late, but they weren't that I wasn't in compliance, that they were receiving them late, and it was a processing thing with what I've talked with one standard of justice, that it's happened to many people before, and I'm on top of it myself, and I'm trying to stay on top of it, and that I've tried to prove time and time again that I'm not trying to dismiss anything, that I'm not submitting where my address is, and that I take my freedom very seriously, and that I go to work every single day, and that I have been drug tested time and time again, and it proves that I've not been using drugs, and that I'm just trying to be a productive member of society out in the community. And I'm just asking that you see this, and that you be able to understand where I'm coming from, that it's very hard out in the community to hold a job down and be remanded time and time again and still be positive. And I am being positive, and I'm trying my hardest. And it's tough every single time when you're trying to talk to your officer, and the only thing that they're asking is, are you clean? How's everything in group? And then not wanting to talk to them on a personal level and tell them that I'm like how I'm doing, that I'm struggling, and I have told Officer Barstow this before, and that I'm trying to be better. And then I'm busy, I have to see a couple other people, and it's like, oh, you can talk in therapy, and it's like it's also talking in a group setting, and I'm trying my hardest to tell like my parole officer what's going on and with me. And it's always, what are you doing wrong? But not hearing of what I've been doing right this whole entire time, and that I've been working, that I've been doing everything possible to be out and prove to my family and my friends and everybody that since I've been out, I've overcome being in the halfway house and going back to programming, and that I've tried my hardest and I'm still trying, and I'm in compliance, and that I have a therapist also, and that I'm trying to show that I'm in compliance, and all that I see is that it's easier to bring somebody down but not actually help somebody back up. And I'm trying to be that model of where everyone can see me, who's all my colleagues and stuff, and see that I have persevered through this, and that being incarcerated doesn't help, and that I'm trying to ask for help, and it's going unanswered. And I'm trying my hardest, just showing that, and I'm doing everything out in the community, and I've lost everything. I've lost my apartment now. I've lost my car now. My car has been repoed. Since the 3 months that I've been in, my stepfather that I'm trying to help out so badly, because he's got his leg amputated, and I'm trying to be there for him, and he hasn't been able to submit anything to council to speak on my behalf, but he was there, and he's also part of my support system, and I'm trying to help him out and be there for him, and he knows how hard I've been trying out in the community to do everything that I'm supposed to be doing, and that I am. And that when you don't have money or anything like that, and to put CTPSB on there, I've told them I want to be compliant, but I don't have the money to put it on. So how am I going to be able to activate my phone and then also pay for this? And then I'm trying my hardest, and I'm trying to tell you that I'm really trying out in the community. And I went and I was at the January Center, and they assessed me as low risk, and I haven't reoffended, and that I've talked to the therapists over there, and they're in my favor. And then when I was released, it's like I've gone and I've shown that I've tried to do everything possible, and that I've stayed afloat, and I've just been trying my hardest.
Thank you, Mr. Gary. I do appreciate your statement. And what's been going on from your point of view. I do appreciate it. Any Officer Barstow, you're not disconnected, right? Okay. Any additional comments at this time? From
Sorry,
either side?
Can you hear me? My camera went off, and then this was kind of like glitching a little bit.
It's glitchy a little bit, but we can hear you, so that's perfect. As long as you can hear us. Any further comments from either side at this time?
Not for me.
No,
I'm sorry.
I'm all set.
No,
I'm all
okay.
set. Thank you. Yep.
Okay, so I'm just going to take a quick second, then I'm going to announce my recommendation. All right, so I have reviewed all the evidence submitted. I've listened to the testimony here today. I do want to put a few things on the record, Mr. Garrett. This is your third violation. Third time for failing to register. It's just very concerning how it just keeps happening to me. And I did read the warrant, which does state that it's just you've had 6 prior failure to registers. You were only in the community for 2 months and 3 weeks between your release and remand. And the devices, it's just concerning of what was in your possession. So with that, I am going to recommend your parole be revoked and that you serve an approximate 15-month period of confinement as less than 2 years. I do want to note on the record, as Polling Community Services has recommended as 2-year sanction. I'm going to recommend a 15-month period of confinement as a sanction. So that's with the re-parole date of December 4th, 2026. I'm going to recommend the following conditions: no alcoholic beverage consumption, behavioral management program for anger management, no contact with victim BP, mental health evaluation and treatment as deemed necessary, enhanced internet and monitoring, device monitoring, no contact with minors, problem sexual behavior treatment, and halfway house placement. But you had a sponsor, so I'm not gonna do the halfway house. Officer Barca, would you want me to leave the halfway house placement on?
Yeah, please.
Leave it on? Okay.
Yeah.
So that's
Just
my
'cause we
recommendation.
we don't know what's gonna happen come, 12/4/26, yeah.
Okay, so I'll leave the halfway house placement stipulation on as a backup. So what happens next is my recommendation is gonna go to the board on December 11th. On that date, Mr. Garrett, the board can do three things. They can adopt my recommendation if they choose to do so. They can lessen it if they want to do so. And if for any reason they will want to see a longer period of confinement, you will be asked to come back for a third hearing to address their questions and concerns before anything longer is imposed. So that does conclude today's hearing. Any questions?
No.
So you will get that everything will be written up a few days after that hearing on December 11th, what their final decision is, okay? So this concludes the revocation hearing for Henry Garrick, case number 405-572. Yes, Mr. Garrick.
I was never sent the evidence for the previous one for the findings and stuff like that for the things. And then I also haven't been able to speak to my counsel per the jail. I've only spoken to him once, and I have
Mr.
wanted to
Garrick,
submit.
I'm gonna have to stop you now. We're way beyond that point of you to ask for any of this. At this point, the hearing is over. The decision is final on my end at this point, and it's gonna go to the board. If hopefully this doesn't happen again, if in the future you're not given your evidence or anything of that nature, it has to be brought up ahead of time.
So, Mr. Garrett, if you want to call us on the 11th, we'll let you know what the board decides. If you want to talk further, I can talk to you further then as well, okay?
Okay.
Thank you. This concludes the revocation hearing for Henry Garrick and number 405-572. Thank you. Good luck to you, Mr. Garrick. Thank you, Officer Barstow.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Good morning, Attorney Black. I'm just trying to connect to New Haven now. We'll get started as soon as they log in. Oh,
Good morning. Thank you.
thanks.
Is the correct pronunciation Truskello?
It's Tricello, but I answer
Tricello.
to whichever. Yeah, whatever works for you. I'll answer to
I'd
it.
like to be, I like to get names right, so.
Yeah,
I asked.
absolutely.
Thank you.
I try my hardest. I'd still mess it up after I ask, unfortunately.
The black has never given me the problem.
No way. Simple, easy. I like it. I don't know why they're not answering. Sorry, good morning.
Oh, he's coming.
Thank you. I feel like we have two. Do we have two? Oh, officer? Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
You're Mr. Coleman, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we're gonna get started, Mr. Coleman. So good morning, I'm Parole Officer Trisella, and I'm the hearing examiner for the Board of Pardons and Paroles. This is a preliminary hearing concerning Darnell Coleman, inmate number 435-225. Today is Monday, December 1st, 2025, and this hearing is being conducted via video at the Board of Pardons and Parole Central Office and New Haven Correctional Center. Can you please state your full name and DOC inmate number for the record?
Yes, Darnell Coleman, 345225.
Thank you. So this is a public hearing, and public access to this hearing is available via video live stream. For this morning is your attorney. Can you please identify yourself for the record?
Good morning. My name is Attorney Kevin Black. I represent Mr. Coleman for today's hearing as well as in his pending case in Meriden Court.
Thank you. So this is a preliminary hearing, and it is to determine probable cause, if there's probable cause, to believe that you committed an act that violated the conditions of your parole. The state, not you, has a responsibility to show that there's probable cause to believe you've violated one or more of the conditions of your parole. And if I do not find probable cause, I will reinstate your parole, which means releasing you and placing you back on parole supervision. If I do find probable cause, you will be held in prison pending further proceedings. You should know that a preliminary hearing is an adversarial proceeding, and anything you say at this hearing can be used against you. This hearing is also being recorded. The testimony at today's hearing will be taken under oath. So Mr. Coleman, can you please raise your right hand? You solemnly swear or solemnly sincerely affirm, as the case may be, that the evidence you shall give concerning this case shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, to help you God upon penalty of perjury.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. So we're going to go over the procedure for today. So first, I'm going to read your rights. Then we're going to review the parole violation charges that the state, your parole officer, is bringing against you. We'll then review and identify the exhibits that have been filed for the record. The state is not present at today's proceedings. However, you will have an opportunity to address the issue of probable cause. And that's it, just to address the issue of probable cause. At the conclusion of the hearing, I'll inform you of my findings, which will be based upon the available evidence. Do you have any questions about the purpose or procedure before we begin?
No, ma'am.
So you do have important rights today, and we're going to review them now. You have the right to be represented by an attorney, and counsel is here present for you. You also have the right to receive the written notice of charges of violation. Did you receive that written notice?
Yes.
You have the right to review the evidence against you before this hearing. You have the right to submit evidence in support of your case. You have the right to call and examine voluntary witnesses, and you have the right to cross-examine adverse witnesses. Do you understand these rights, and are you ready to go forward?
Yes.
Thank you. So we're going to review the charges now that the state, your parole officer, is bringing against you, and the information underlying the charge. So for the charge number 1, the condition is Connecticut bail laws and Wisconsin ST001. The charging officer reported that on 10/31/2025, you were involved in a domestic violence altercation at your DOC-approved residence. You were arrested by the Hampton Police Department in charge of violating Connecticut General Statute 53A-182, disorderly conduct, and Connecticut General Statute 53A-61, assault third degree. The Wisconsin Statute 001 states avoid all contact which is in violation of federal or state statute, municipal or county ordinance, tribal law, or which is not in the best interest of the public welfare or your rehabilitation. You're involved in a domestic violence altercation resulting in arrest by Hampton, Connecticut police. You were charged with Connecticut General Statute 53A-182, disorderly conduct, and Connecticut General Statute 53A-61, assault in the third degree. The state has filed the following exhibits that are being for identification purposes as Connecticut conditions of parole, which is Exhibit A. Exhibit B is the Wisconsin rules of supervision. Exhibit C is the remand to actual custody. Exhibit D is the notice of parole violation. Exhibit E is a parole violation report. And Exhibit F is the Hampton Police Report number 25-000-33602. Counsel, did you and your client receive the notice of parole violation, the parole violation report, and all the other documents identified for today?
I have received them via email. I can't speak for my client, but I'm presuming he was sent those. Mr. Coleman, were you sent those?
Yes.
Sure, perfect. Okay, and I did receive exhibits from the defense, which I was able to review, so I'm going to identify them as Exhibit 1. 3 letters of, do we want to call them support, counsel, or do you?
What was the question, Madam Hearing Officer?
I did receive the 3 exhibits from you in your office. I was going to identify them all as Exhibit 1 as 3 letters of support. Is that sufficient?
Yes, perfectly fine. Thank you.
So we'll do Exhibit 1, and we're going to identify them all as 3 letters of support. At this time, counsel, do you need any other additional time to submit any other evidence?
I do not.
So now it is your opportunity, counsel, to respond to the parole violation charges against Mr. Coleman with respect to probable cause. So would you like to make a statement?
I would, please. Thank you. So I've done this for a long time, and I say that not to say I've done it for a long time, but just to indicate that in 95% of the cases I've done over those 30 plus years as a criminal defense attorney, I don't come in that percentage of time saying my client didn't do anything, or I don't think there's enough evidence here to support that my client did something. Oftentimes we're simply trying to mitigate, and we're trying to deal with the situation we have at hand. In this case, however, I think that in light of the fact that there has been no judicial determination of probable cause in this case, there has merely been a police officer's determination to make an arrest that there was probable cause. I think that this hearing can look at that with fresh eyes and not rely upon any determinations that were made by a third party who was not a judge, either by warrant or by probable cause affidavit and a finding at the hearing. So in this case, what is probable cause? It's that Madam Hearing Officer has to find that this arrest was made on more than a mere hunch, made on more than mere suspicion, made on more than a guess, but that actually says that it's more probable than not that Mr. Coleman committed a crime that deserves for him to land back in here facing the violation of his parole. I think it's relevant, the fact that Mr. Coleman has been on parole in Connecticut for a significant period of time at this point. I believe it's close to 6 years that he has been here. He has not had any violations. He's been stepped down on that parole to, I think, once every 3 months, is my understanding that he checks in. And so he's clearly been given a great deal of freedom on that parole. And he had a job, and he has children, and he has a wife, and he's been living here and been productive up until this incident without any other violation. So I say that again, not to say that he couldn't have done something here, but to say that I think his version, his statement to the police willingly, spontaneously, and politely and without any difficulty with the police who say that in their police report was a very credible statement as to an alternative way that any scratch that was on the protected party, and I won't use her name here, I'll just say AC, any scratch that was on AC or any statement that AC gave, that both of them could be looked at as perfectly viable ways that this could happen. I think then when you take the new statement from AC and you look at the statement from AC's mother-in-law, her mother rather, Mr. Coleman's mother-in-law, and AC's sister, I submitted them more than just as letters of support. I submitted them as hopefully showing that there were some gaps in the police officers' reports that probably should have been included to give a full picture of what went on that night. And why were they not in the report if they're to be believed by you, Madam Hearing Officer? If you believe that the mother-in-law of Mr. Coleman is being factual and truthful, that she did tell them that her daughter was drinking that night, that Mr. Coleman did go over to his mother-in-law's house, which is not always something that a person would do, I don't think, if they had just committed a crime against that person's daughter. And he was perfectly cooperative with the police at that point. She was cooperative with them at that point, but they put nothing in there about her statement about that he didn't believe something, that she didn't believe something happened, and that her daughter had a drinking problem or was drinking that evening. So again, I think that just adds one piece of the evidence. And I don't think it's anything nefarious that the police left it out. I think these people are very busy. They come out on a domestic call. They have to make a very quick decision. And they probably didn't feel that this one was worth investigating too much further than they did, and just took, AC's version of the events and said, we're just going to make an arrest here, saw that Mr. Coleman was on parole, and we're going to be err on the side of caution, which is oftentimes what the police do in these situations now. We all see it, and for good reason. But in this case, I think that there is now evidence to support that there was not probable cause to believe that Mr. Coleman had committed assault in the third degree, which means that he had to have the intent. And obviously, when you have these misdemeanor charges, Madam Hearing Officer, as you know from doing so many of these, and by the way, I've been very upfront with everybody that this is the first parole revocation hearing I've ever done. And so I tried to find out what I'm supposed to be doing here to support what I said earlier, that there's usually not probably much of a reason to be here. But in this case, I really thought there was, after reviewing the police reports, the statements from the parties that were interviewed that night by the police. And I think that the misdemeanor charges I was mentioning is that they never specify a subsection. So I'm just going to say, I think I have to defend against any reasonable subsection that could apply here. So it's either intent to cause injury and causes injury, or it's recklessly causes serious injury, or it's with causes injury by deadly weapon. I don't think those second two apply. I don't think there was serious injury. There was no allegation of a deadly weapon. So we're limited to the first prong of the assault third, which is intent to cause injury and did cause injury. And I think now with the statement from AC, who, by the way, Madam Officer, has given that same statement to the Meriden courthouse in response to our motion to modify a protective order on Friday, the 5th of December. That statement has now been given to the victim's advocate at the courthouse. And so I just don't think that, based upon the two stories, the fact that one person was intoxicated at the time, that there's evidence of that intoxication now presented to Your Honor. Although it might not have been in the police reports, I think there is credible evidence from two of her family members, not Mr. Coleman's family members, but her family members, who have said that she was highly intoxicated, bringing some credibility issues into what she said to the police that night. The fact that Mr. Coleman's statement to the police is very consistent with his actions as well as any injury that the police observed on AC. And lastly, I would say is that the police report really doesn't have any specificity as to how he allegedly assaulted her, how he allegedly physically attacked her, how these injuries allegedly happened. None of those details were given or asked for by the police department when they spoke to to AC. And I think that kind of supports the fact that maybe this was maybe a foregone conclusion that Mr. Coleman was going to get arrested that night based on the simple statement that AC made to the police when they got there. So having said all that, probably said far too much. I just think that we can't look at the mere fact that there was an arrest made in a vacuum. I think here, the fact that there wasn't a finding of probable cause made judicially, the fact that there were two very credible things being said that night by Mr. Coleman, his demeanor, his attitude, his cooperation, the fact that he went to his in-laws, that they supported his claim, that the sister supported his claim, and now the recantation by AC, which doesn't say that there wasn't a verbal argument, doesn't say that they weren't arguing, doesn't say that she didn't jump on his back. Like, she corroborates a lot of it. She just says that she believes the scratch was caused by her glasses and not Mr. Coleman. So with all that, I put it back to you, Madam Hearing Officer, for any questions you may have. But I think that sums up. If Mr. Coleman thinks I've omitted anything, please, I would ask him to chime in.
Yeah, Mr. Coleman, this is your opportunity to speak towards the charge. Anything further?
You said, say it again, Mel?
This is your opportunity if you have anything additional to say towards the charges.
As far as speaking about the charges?
Yeah, anything additional that your attorney didn't put on the record.
No, he put everything up there.
All right, so I'm
I
just
would
gonna
also
take,
note, Madam Hearing Officer, that he's also been at this point, he's been remanded since 10/31. I know that's for the next level if we get there, but in case that's relevant, thank you.
yeah. Okay, I'll just take a quick moment, then I'm gonna announce my finding. I have listened to the testimony presented today, but I've also reviewed all the evidence submitted by both parties. With that, Mr. Coleman, I am going to find probable cause for the charges based on states exhibits A, B, E, and F. So with that, my findings are going to be submitted to the interstate unit. So what happens is, because you're here from Wisconsin, once those charges in court are disposed of, we will be notified of it. So whatever the outcome is, we get notified of it here. Our interstate unit in Wisconsin are going to be the ones to determine what outcome comes from parole. So they will get notified of what happens in court. They will contact Wisconsin and they will decide on the release date or anything moving forward with your case. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So just good luck to you in court. I think your attorney mentioned you have something on the 5th. And then, like I said, we'll get notified from your parole officer in the community, or I think the interstate officer will track it too, with the disposition, what takes place in court, and then we'll figure out what to do from there forward. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, counsel. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Officer Tricello. Have a good day. Bye, Mr.
Thank
Coleman.
you.
See you on Friday.
All right. Good luck to you, Mr. Coleman. Thank you, Attorney Black. Have a good day. This concludes the preliminary hearing for Darnell Coleman, inmate number 4352225. Thank you, Mr. Coleman. I'll leave it on. You can leave it on.
Okay.
Yeah, and can you have an officer come in, please?
Yes.
Thanks.
Officer. Sarge.
Hi, we actually have someone else with you guys. I have Tyshawn Boykin.
Yeah, so I don't think he's in the building.
The building? We checked the movement this morning. You mean he's somewhere out? Like, where would he be? I can double check right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have him at New Haven.
Maybe, you know, let me see, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Hey, no problem. Hey, you know. He's coming down.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. Sorry about that. He moved from the east dorm to the west dorm.
Oh, okay,
Yes.
that works as long as he's there, as long as he's
Okay.
with you guys. Perfect, thanks. Mr. Boykin, I'm just gonna do a quick case before you. The attorney's here to handle it in 30 seconds, and then we'll get started, you and I, okay? All right, so good morning. I'm Parole Officer Chiselle. I'm a hearing examiner for the Board of Pardons and Paroles. This is a preliminary hearing concerning Daniel Ramos, case number 420798. Today is Monday, December 1st, 2025. This hearing is being conducted at the Board of Pardons and Paroles Central Office via video. Counsel, please identify yourself for the record.
Sure. Attorney Alfonso Sirico with the Parole Revocation Unit representing Mr. Daniel Ramos, number 420798. Had some difficulties getting a hold of my client last week. I was finally able to speak to him this morning. We are waiving preliminary hearing on the record. He does have a case pending on our GA14 for the next court on December 18, 2025. So after speaking to my client, we are waiving the preliminary hearing today. When he is scheduled for the revocation once he resolves the case in court, depending on the disposition from court.
Thank you. So I am going to accept the waiver on the record and make the findings based on the counsel's waiver conceding to probable cause. So this does conclude the preliminary hearing. The records office will be notified and his revocation hearing will be scheduled.
Thank you.
Disposition of charges. Thank you, counsel. This concludes the preliminary hearing for Daniel Ramos, inmate number 420798. Thank you, Mr. Boykin. We're going to get started, okay?
How you doing today?
Good. All right, so I am Parole Officer Trisella. I'm a hearing examiner for the Board of Pardons and Paroles. And this is a preliminary hearing concerning Tayshawn Boykin, inmate number 265207. Today is Monday, December 1st, 2025, and this hearing is being conducted via video at the Board of Pardons and Paroles Central Office and New Haven Correctional Center. Can you please state your full name and DOC inmate number for the record?
265207.
And your full name, please?
Tayshawn Rashard Boykin.
Thank you. So this is a public hearing and public access to this hearing is available via video live stream. So we're going to go over the purpose of today's hearing. So it is a preliminary hearing that has three purposes under Connecticut law. The first is to determine if there's probable cause to believe you committed an act that violated the conditions of your parole. The second is to determine if the act is sufficiently serious to warrant the revocation of your parole. And the third is to determine if you should be held in prison pending further proceedings. The state, not you, has a responsibility to show there's probable cause to believe you violated one or more of the conditions of your parole. If I do not find probable cause, I will reinstate your parole, which means releasing you and placing you back on parole supervision. If I find probable cause and determine that the act is sufficiently serious to warrant revocation, you may be held in prison pending further proceedings. I do want to let you know, Mr. Boykin, that you also have an option to waive today's preliminary hearing conceding to probable cause due to having new criminal charges that are pending. What that means is that today's hearing will be concluded, and once the pending charges are settled in court, we will be notified by Parole and Community Services of the disposition of that case, and a revocation hearing will then be scheduled. If you do choose to waive today's hearing, we will review all the rights that you are waiving before we conclude today. So at this time, Mr. Boykin, would you like to move forward with today's hearing?
Yeah, I don't, it doesn't, I was just being here because I kind of want to be relevant in all the situations. I felt like the last time when I waived it, it didn't go the right way because I didn't get to stay or say anything at the beginning. And I understand that I have to be incarcerated for the situation, but I don't know. Maybe this time it's just different. I don't know. It was a bad deal.
Well, so like I just mentioned, that those pending charges are waived. So if you choose to waive, we'll go over the rights that you're waiving at today's hearing, if you choose to do so. But you do have that pending case in court, so I also strongly recommend that everything is recorded. So you do also have the right to remain silent if you choose to do so if we move forward. So it's 100% your call, but waiving today's case does concede to probable cause, which is why we're here, just to determine probable cause. And with that, you'd also be waiving your rights to an attorney, to review the evidence with me against you, to state your position against the charges against you at today's hearing. So that's pretty, and about witnesses, if you had any that you wanted to bring to discuss, to adverse witnesses and your own witnesses. So it just, you waive all of your rights to today's hearing if you choose to waive.
I have a lawyer, but I haven't been able to pay him yet. So I don't know what does that consist of? Like, do I have to waive it or extend the probable cause hearing until because they'll be paid by the end of the week? And then do I have to reassess this or just waive the hearing in all general and just wait till the revocation hearing after the disposition is done?
So those are your options as well. So if you have a private attorney, we can continue today if you want them to represent you here, which includes the payment. Obviously, you got to get them. What is it called? It's not remanded. Retainer. Retainer. They want they want their money. So if you do have if you have that private attorney, we can give it. This month is unfortunately a little short because of the holiday, but we can give it a week or two. I think my next hearing is the 11th. If you feel like you want them to represent you here, again, no
matter what the situation, I'm going to end up staying incarcerated anyway, pretty much, because there is probable cause. I mean, I've been through this before, so I was just coming to show my face and talk. And you guys, I've been seeing you guys for a little while, and I had it for a long time. So
you kind of know the process then?
Yeah.
All right, so just to confirm, Mr. Boykin, you're willing to waive today's hearing based on conceding to probable cause?
Yes, I know the probable cause. I can see that. I understand. I just wanted to show face, I'm sorry for even seeing you guys again.
No, I mean, you do have to deal with what you're dealing with. So I'm going to accept that waiver on the record. We just want to review your waiver does mean that you are waiving the right to today's hearing, the right to an attorney for today's hearing, and the right to review the charges against you from your parole officer. You understand that you're waiving all of those rights?
Yeah, everything that's done was done correctly, so I can't really, there's nothing to go against.
Right.
I understand.
No, I appreciate you. I appreciate you talking to me as well. So I'm gonna, like I said, accept that waiver. I'm gonna let the records department know at the facility, because you're conceding to the probable cause and the allegations are severe, I'm going to continue your incarceration and recommend that you stay incarcerated until the disposition of those charges or moving forward. So what happens next is once your case is disposed of, you'll come back and see me or one of the other hearing examiners. And at that hearing, we'll determine whether or not you violated. And if we do determine that there was a violation that occurred, we'll make a recommendation as to an appropriate sanction, okay?
Okay, I'm just asking because now at this point, like this case is gonna be, it's gonna be probably B or maybe down to the minimal. I don't know, but if when I beat it, does that put me in a place that I go right back out, or I still have to stay? Because I made a mistake, but I had a lot of good stuff going, and I worked really hard for it, and I just made a dumb mistake.
So as soon as it's done in court, yep, we get told, your parole officer that you were reporting to will notify us. They have 14 business days to notify us of the disposition of the case. And then we'll schedule you for a revocation hearing as soon as we can after. We don't really hold off too long. I think we do have like maybe a month or two, like a few business, like maybe 30 business days, but you'll get back in. Yeah, so we'll get you back in as soon as it's done in court, okay?
All right.
All right, any questions for me right now, Mr. Boynton?
Thank you for being so nice. That's cool.
No, good luck to you. And hopefully it all works out and we'll see you sooner than later, okay?
Okay. You have a great day, okay? Have a happy holidays.
Happy holidays to you too. Take care.
Okay.
All right, this concludes the preliminary hearing for Tyshawn Boykin, inmate number 265207. Good luck to you.
All right. Have a great one.
You too. Take care.